Let's turn our attention to the Brittney Griner story this morning, sentenced to 9 years in a Russian prison. Eliev Gabay with us for a few minutes. He has been covering the Mercury inside and out. He's been on top of this story with Sports 360 AZ. What was your initial reaction?
Honestly, one step closer to the prisoner swap. That was the only thing on my mind. I think that is what should be on everybody's mind. Yes, the 9 years is daunting, and there's no question that that is a scary number to look at. But at the end of the day, we're a step closer to what the goal has been all along, which is that prisoner swap.
From here, the prisoner swap has been what has been discussed. And I think we can go all the way back to February when you first started looking into this story and following the story. The prisoner swap sounds pretty straightforward. President Biden versus President Putin. Or are there more factors involved from that, from what you're hearing, what you're seeing, the people whose opinions you trust on this?
So from what I understand from the experts, at the end of the day, what was discussed several weeks ago, nearly already almost a month, was that prisoner swap with Paul Whelan plus Brittney Griner for Victor Bout. Now, what we've seen most recently is that Russia is adding or wanting to add murderer Vadim Krasikov. That's something that I think the U.S. sees, from what I'm understanding, as kind of trying to push their luck on Russia's side.
Off the focus on the courtroom and everything that's going on with Brittney, the Mercury have 5 games left in their regular season. They turn this thing upside down. And before I get to on the court with them, what about off the court with Brittney Griner's sentencing today, and then get into their season and where they stand?
So in general, we've seen every single press conference, any time that they've had a chance to talk, they've said something about BG. And yes, it's been known how this has impacted the team, but on a day-to-day basis, what Brittney brought to the team more than on the court, in my opinion, from what I can see, is that glue. That glue is so important for any roster, and that kind of energy that she brings, that's real. That is real, and that is huge when it comes to these long seasons. But I got to give them a lot of credit. It's been an impressive year, in my opinion, as far as what they've had to deal with off the court and then now on the court as well. First of all, you go into this expecting to have BG, second in MVP last year, as dominant as she is, only getting better. You don't have that all of a sudden. Everybody's roles are different. Tina's role is different. Everybody's role is different coming in. And then in the middle of the season, they have to adjust again because Tina Charles moves on. And that never really worked. And we saw that at the beginning of the year. And then the small ball, I don't want to get into too much of it. I know we have more to discuss, but the small ball seems to be working.
Yeah, well, the Tina Charles story, let's just go back to that. What didn't work? And was it really she just had to get out of here for them to figure things out?
Well, watching on court, it seemed like the identity of the team wasn't clear. You know, Tina sometimes was out on the perimeter shooting threes or looking for that post position. At times it felt like they had to force her the ball in the post, in order to make it work, rather than just playing the ball, playing the energy, going through the guards, and now, yes, it seemed that the divorce, as they've called it, has worked for both sides, where Tina is happy in Seattle. She's made the playoffs for the first time in years in her career. And then with the Mercury, you see a rising star like Sophie Cunningham, who's making a real run at most improved player, coming and going to the 4 spot and absolutely taking advantage of the mismatches on offense. And the energy on defense has been everywhere, and the communication has never been better, especially since the All-Star break for this team.
Diana Taurasia, we've seen her final days in the WNBA.
It's always tough to say with DT, right? Because anytime you'll ask her, she'll say, "We'll see, we'll see." She's always the "we'll see" type of person. She takes incredible care of her body. We've seen that for sure. One of the first even signs of some kind of injury was this last game, where her right quad has now made her in question for their game on Thursday against Connecticut. But besides that, she has looked healthy all season. Yes, she's had that slower step perhaps defensively, but listen, when you can put up 30 points and go off the way you do, she'll always say, I can still hoop. So we can see that she can still hoop. She still has some gas in the tank, and she's pretty competitive. So maybe she'll come back again next year. I don't know. It's going to be tough to say. Really, all off season, it's going to be a story probably.
With what's gone on with Brittney Griner, are we seeing the end of players to go to Russia to play basketball? Because Brittney Griner had been, whether people like this comment or not, it's a fact. She'd been an ambassador for the game of basketball globally. Like going to Russia was part of her deal. And now that if you're a WNBA player, you look at what's gone on over there with her, and you can say, well, just don't bring cartridges into an airport and this won't happen to you. But do you think we're going to see the end or dialing back of USA players going overseas? Because they make far more money over there than they do here. So get into that a little bit.
So I think, we actually had a story about this even way before this whole Brittney Griner wrongful detainment happened, where we had Brittney saying that these decisions are becoming harder and harder in the offseason to go and leave family and leave for the holiday seasons and birthdays and what have you. So before it was already tough. Now we're seeing players like Nneka Ogwumike, of course, Diana also played for ECAT, come forward. And even when you have in the trial her ECAT organization standing up for Brittney, saying how great she is and how she's been such an incredible, as you mentioned, ambassador for the game and for America in Russia, and how many championships and all these things. And now we see that that's all fallen to the wayside when it seems to matter most. From what we've seen from comments from players, we definitely will start seeing that taking a step back, and players who were supposed to go to Russia are also not going anymore and things of that nature. So yes, I think so, Brad.
Are the Mercury going to make the playoffs? Do you look at them and say this is a title contending team? Again, 5 games to go, including tonight. They play this evening against Connecticut. They're going to make it.
I think they'll make it. And I think that the X Factor and Mercury fans should see that as a win for this season. I'm not sure that they're quite title contenders because it's tough with having a short bench and playing small ball, and relying so heavily on the guard play, of course, of DT. Skylar is having an all-WNBA season, and she is also having an all-WNBA first-team, all-defensive season as well. So she's really done incredible things for this team. So, yes, I think they make the playoffs, but I'm not sure how much further it would go past that. And I think that is a win for the X Factor and for the Mercury, considering what's happened and what's gone on all season.
Elliot Gabay on things around Brittney Griner and the latest there on her sentencing, and as the Mercury get ready for their postseason run as well. Elliot, thanks.
Thanks, Brad.